What's up, everybody? This is Fred Richani. We have right here via Zoom a very special guest. She is multi-talented. She is a pro wrestler, one of the best in the world today. She is a commentator. She's a former MMA fighter. She's a promoter. We are talking to the great, the talented, all elite wrestling women's world champion, Thunder Rosa. Rosa, thank you so much for joining us. How's everything going?
Oh my God, you're so excited to interview me. I love it. That was a great interview. I'm doing great. I am Miami today. Before this interview, I had to make sure I had to go to the beach and get some sun, because I'm very pale, and it was amazing. So now I am here getting ready for the night. I'm gonna be working with Mr. Campbell, and we're gonna be doing some promotional stuff for tomorrow's show. And I'm super excited to do this is a new gig. I've done commentary for wrestling, but now I'm going to do commentary for MMA. So it's really interesting.
Combate Global is going to be streaming live on Paramount Plus Friday, July 15th, Friday, July 22nd, live in Miami, Florida. You are going to be on commentary. How'd you get linked back up with Combate? You did fight for them a few years back. And could we see more commentary in your future?
Well, it all depends on how much they like me and how much what the chemistry that exists between the current team. I was actually listening to a couple of the fights from previous fighters that are on the card tomorrow. And I was listening to my team, and I'm like, okay, so everybody's like, I'll be the one who's been making probably the funny comments because I always come up with some dumb, ridiculous stuff. But I don't know. I'm really excited. I love MMA. I think MMA was the thing that reignited my career as a professional wrestler, and it helped me to be where I am right now. So now being at the other side, not getting punched by calling the punches and the kicks, is going to be very interesting.
So was there any point in your career where you said, this wrestling thing's cool, but maybe I want to try MMA?
I did at a point. I think it was right before the pandemic started. I started really seriously training for MMA. I was training MMA 5 days a week. And I was getting ready for a fight, my second fight, because I felt that I needed to give myself more time to train to achieve a better training camp, and maybe to achieve a win for the next fight. But COVID happened and everything shut down, and that kind of I had to restructure my life, and I was like, okay, well, I'm not making any money in MMA, so I'm gonna consider to just pour everything I have into being a champion. Back then I was the NWA Women's World Champion, and I just, utilized a lot of the stuff that I learned in MMA, and I started putting them in professional wrestling, and people seem to really enjoy what I was doing. And my wrestling career took off, and I was like, okay, I'm just going to put MMA on the back burner and just focus on being a professional wrestler.
And obviously it's worked out for you, the current AEW Women's World Champion, and just an incredible story overall, from social worker to professional wrestling. A lot of people get into professional wrestling, maybe in their teenage years, early 20s. I believe you didn't really start training until your mid 20s, then go full board until your 30s. And now here you are, currently the champ, and got a lot going on for you. So what made you kind of decide to take that leap of faith?
Once I started figuring out that if you do certain things, you can actually make a career of professional wrestling and a pretty decent living. I was blessed that in my first year of professional wrestling, I was able to work in a TV show called Lucha Underground, which really I was like, oh man, they can really pay you if you do X, Y, and Z. And then also seeing the different avenues of the revenue that you could make if you were a professional wrestler. It was just I think it was, for me, it was the hustle, the constant reinventing yourself and finding new ways to make money right now, because you are considered an athlete and an artist. So as soon as I kind of found out the key, my husband and we decided that it was best for me to focus 100% to become a professional athlete, instead of just kind of doing part-time professional athlete and then just doing social work, which it was one of my other passions that I had. And so I always like to help people. I always like to, volunteer in my community and just do all things for other people. And it was hard for me to make that decision because I was very close to the clients that I had at the moment, but they all understood that I was doing it because I was, going and working towards my dreams. And I'm very, very glad that it really pay off more than I ever thought it would.
It definitely has. How does it feel being not only the AEW Women's World Champion, but also kind of being on the best run of your career? I'm sure it's something that everybody dreams of in professional wrestling. But is it everything you expected so far?
I think everything and a little bit more. With the title comes a lot of responsibility. It comes a lot of criticism. It comes a lot with expectations from people that you don't even know they had expectations for you. But I've done everything that I can to be happy and to enjoy the moment, because not everybody can say they're world champions, and I am one of them, and I am in the history books. And now as the AEW Women's World Champion, I can say that I'm the first one of my kind. You know, the first Mexican-born wrestler to be a champion in a major company. And I'm making the best out of it. I just came back from Tokyo actually on Monday, and I went to show off my title and had a very interesting match, and where if the person won the match, she was gonna get a shot to the title here in America. So she won. Now she's coming to America, and now she's gonna have a shot to the title. And this is the first time that it's done as a woman champion. It's been done something like that in the company. So I was really excited. So we're putting back the world champion into the world championship. So um I am having a lot of fun. And then now as a champion, I can be a commentator for Combate Global, which I am really thankful for, Tony Khan to work with Mr. Campbell, and do this and see how it takes, where this can take, because we can do this co-promotional program, and where people are like, oh my God, this is Thunder Rosa, who's a wrestler at AEW. You can watch me on Rampage and Dynamite every Wednesday and Friday. So it's really, really cool what's happening.
It's definitely cool. And we've seen that Tony Khan is no stranger to using a lot of wrestlers that have MMA backgrounds or MMA fighters turned wrestlers. So do you kind of hope that with this thing with Combate Global, it kind of maybe bridges the gap a little bit more with wrestling and MMA, and in conjunction with AEW and Combate, that maybe they send some of their wrestlers over into the Combate cage and vice versa into the wrestling ring?
I mean, the possibilities are endless. I know that one of the people that started like opening the forbidden door in Combat was Sexy Dulce, which is another wrestler, a good friend of mine. And then because of like the success that she had, I was invited to come to Combat Global as an MMA fighter. And so it is interesting. It could happen. I think if we can find someone who's Latina, or like if I have an eye, and I'll be like, hey, Campbell, I think she could be a really good wrestler, and just have that conversation, because you never know. Like you've seen like so many women from different companies are jumping into becoming professional wrestlers. So the door is open, like the possibilities are endless again.
Combate it's crazy. They've grown exponentially since you last fought for them and everything. Now they have this deal with Paramount Plus. And I still feel like to some extent they're overlooked. And it's crazy because they've grown so much. They have great appeal. It's an untapped market in the mixed martial arts world. So do you hope that down the road there's some crossover between that and AEW as well in terms of the viewership?
I would like to, absolutely. If we can both benefit from this partnership, I think it'll be great. It's the same with AEW. I think there is an on-top market for the Latino community, and I think this will bridge the gap. And that's why I will love to be one of the bridges to help open this up. So it's like, oh, there's a wrestler who's doing commentary, and she also fought. I can see her in X, Y, and Z, and it's just like. And the same, like when I'm over there, like, oh yeah, she's the commentator for Combate Global. She's really fun. I like to watch the fights, So it's just like really interesting, every possibility that we can actually do from here. And yeah, you're absolutely right. I was reading, the more that I was reading about Combate Global, and me as a former fighter, Combate Global has been a platform for unknown fighters to go to the next level. Like they have grown so many people that now are on UFC, that are in Bellator and in PFL. So this company is very important to give opportunities to those that otherwise wouldn't have an opportunity to be seen in a bigger stage.
Now, I got to ask you, how do you balance everything? You're a wife, you're a mother, you're an entrepreneur, you're a promoter yourself with Mission Pro. You're, of course, a full-time pro wrestler, one of the world champions of AEW. How do you sleep? How do you do your thing? How do you balance work and life?
How do you sleep? I don't sleep. It's like I am, the sleep part is rough. It goes on waves. So like I've been in a tour of a 12-day tour, and it ends on Saturday. I go home, and then I take a little break, and then it's a small tour, and like I'm taking breaks in between so I can spend time with my family. But it's very difficult, honestly. But when your career is so hot and you know that you have to strike while the iron is like steaming, burning hot, you have to do it. Like this is a moment that the stage has been given to me, and I'm just running with it. And I will rest pretty soon, but more and more things are lining up in the very near future, and you don't understand how excited I am. And like again today, I'm like, when I was riding the plane, I was like, man, I'm like so excited to be doing something completely different than what I've been doing for the last, you know, 2 years. And it's just um professional wrestling was like for me like the door for everything in life, like MMA, jiu-jitsu, mixed martial arts in many different ways. To me, like wonderful people. Now I'm like, working with Combate Global as commentator, and I don't know, we might be able to, like you were saying, to bring that opportunity to other people that otherwise wouldn't have it.
And I apologize, I left out one other job title: vlogger, social media manager. Your presence is incredible on YouTube and Twitter and all of social media. Do you have any help with that stuff?
I do. My media director, his name is Tony Allen. I've been working with him since October. So that's why you've seen a lot more vlogs on YouTube, a lot more stuff on social media, because he's the one who does it. I just go do my little and then I turn it into him. He does that. He's been very, very, very helpful. And he's actually one of the guys that he helped me with all the communication between Campbell, Mike, and Combate Global. So now I'm here, and we're gonna do this tomorrow, and I hope everybody's gonna be watching in Paramount Plus.
If you got the means, invest in yourself.
100%. I think that will be for me the most important part, and you've seen it with my entrances, with my gear as a professional wrestler. I always have invested on myself, at least on the gear. I'm a very down to earth girl. I don't like to have like long nails and like super fancy stuff. I'm not like that. I like to invest in things that people are like, oh my gosh, she has this really cool stuff. Like her face paint looks amazing. Her body looks this way. This is all part of investing in yourself. So yeah.
Before we let you go, we always like to ask all our guests some kind of random and rapid fire questions just to get to know them better. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Favorite late night snack or cheat meal?
Jesus. Beef jerky.
All right. All-time favorite wrestler?
Oh my God, this is so hard. All-time favorite wrestler. Who's my all-time? My coach, Dustin Rhodes.
Good answer. Who would you say is your dream opponent, dead or alive?
I would love to wrestle Io Shirai. She was my trainer in Japan, and I've said it multiple times. She's very talented.
What hurt your body more, the lights out match with Britt Baker or the cage match with Britt Baker?
Oh, brother. I couldn't move after the cage match, so I will say the cage match.
After the cage match, though, and the first Britt match, the lights out match, did you two realize like the kind of history you were making?
Yes. I didn't know to what extent this will become like pop culture, right? And but once it aired, and like the reaction of the people was really intense. So now I'm very blessed that, like I said, my boss Tony Khan decided that that I should be one of the ones who should be part of this breaking history moment. So I'm really glad that happened.
Who is the funniest person backstage in AEW?
Honestly, love Danhausen, because he never breaks.
So Danhausen's always just Danhausen?
Yeah, he's always like this.
Are you on his good side, or did he cast a spell?
I give him tacos, so I'm going to his good side.
All right. Good to know. What's your most awkward moment as a professional wrestler?
Sometimes maybe when you like miss a move and you just have to act like it was meant to be that way. A couple times in different promotions. And one time it happened in Mexico City. Like I was supposed to do a handstand or a cartwheel, and I ate shit, and and I just like got on my knees and did a pose, and I was like, oh my God, and the people started booing. It was great.
Well, they say in MMA and boxing, especially when somebody gets like knocked out or has a bad fight, like, you got to have short-term memory. You can't let that linger. So I would assume that's the same in pro wrestling, right? If you mess up something or something goes wrong, you just have to have short-term memory and keep going.
Yes, pretty much. Otherwise, you're gonna look like you don't know what you're doing.
What's your best piece of advice for success?
Consistency. Consistency 100%. If you say you're gonna do something, you have to consistently do it until you get it better and or until you get results. You can't give up when somebody tells you no, when things don't go the way that you wanted to, or when people are criticizing your body at work. You have to keep going.
Why should fans check out Combate Global on Paramount Plus?
Why? First of all, because I think everybody should give a chance to new fighters. We have a great card for the undercard that again the opening is like when we have the opening match on professional wrestling. And just seeing the fighters grow, and when you see them from oh my god, I saw them on Combate Global in Paramount Plus like a couple months ago, and I was talking to one of my friends. Actually, one of the guys that is gonna be next week, I saw him around here in Miami. Now I'm gonna be calling his match, so it's really really cool. Like he's gonna be on Combate. So again, it's really cool to see. It's like with professional wrestling, those fighters grow in the company, and then once you're like, hey, where are they at? And then you see them and they're going somewhere else. It's like you get to see their fights, you get to see their growth. And I think it's a very cool opportunity because it's a lot of Latinos are on the card. And it is important that we support our Latinos on everything we're doing, boxing, on MMA, on professional wrestling, on everything. It's important that we as Latinos and also people in general support this kind of shows because again, it's opportunities that are given to people that don't have it otherwise. And if people are not watching, again, it's like they can go away. But I know that Mr. Campbell, he's one of the craziest and coolest dudes I ever known. So I know he's making this work. So I hope that you guys can watch it, not only because I'm gonna be there, but because the fighters and the matches are really, really good.
Awesome. We'll definitely check out Combate Global Paramount Plus July 15th and July 22nd. Where can we find you online and where can we find you next?
Well, you can find me online at Thunder Rosa 22 at all my social handles. Also on YouTube and Thunder Rosa. My vlogs are every Tuesday, the Taco Vlog, and every Saturday. That's my traveling vlog. You can also, if you want more, if you want to get to know me a little bit more, is thunderrosaofficial.com. I post a lot of stuff that are not anywhere on social media or anything. And you can find me on Dynamite or Rampage on TNT and TBS on Wednesdays and Fridays.
Bonus question. Is there anything you wish I asked you in this interview?
No, that's good.
Excellent. Well, Thunder Rosa, thank you so much for your time. Of course, Combate Global July 15th and July 22nd streaming on Paramount Plus, and you can see her each and every single week. AEW Dynamite Wednesday nights on TBS and AEW Rampage Friday nights on TNT.